Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Hallinan, and we're going to continue our vlog. This will be a little bit out of order. I recorded already the one I wanted to do on how to restrict your calories, but we're going to talk first about the fact that food is addicting. And most people don't think about it this way. They used to think about cigarettes as addicting or drugs as addicting. But I want you to think very carefully about the definition of addiction. Addiction, by definition, is doing something continuously in the face of evidence that it is having recurrent bad or deleterious effects on you. And when you think about how many people continue to overeat, even in the face of being put on multiple medications and insulin and needing joint replacements and things like that, you must certainly see that this is a true addiction phenomenon. And the concerning thing that most people don't realize is that the food industry engineers your food so that it is as addicting as possible, down to the pounds per square inch and the crunch of a potato chip. Food is engineered to be addicting. You don't hear about people saying, "Oh my gosh, I had a bag of carrots and I went through the whole bag." No, but they certainly will say, "I had a bag full of Doritos and I went through the whole bag." So you need to be aware that somebody is doing this to you. There is an industry that is out there engineering food to make money off of making you addicted to the food that they engineer. So you have to break the cycle of being addicted to the food. And so here's my board again, right? And remember, again, I'm just doing this on my own, okay? So food is engineered to be addicting. You need to know that, right? And there's a book called Salt, Sugar, Fat. It is an excellent book. I highly recommend if you get a chance to read it. It details interviews with the CEOs of some of the largest food companies in the United States and the strategies that they employ to make you continue to buy all of this processed food. So there's another video that's very good if you want to educate yourself on this whole thing. It's called Fed Up. It's done by Katie Couric, and it was put out last year. Sadly enough, it was actually covered up by the Grocery Manufacturers Association. They bought up all of the web links to the site when it first came out, but it's an excellent documentary. I highly recommend that you take a look at it. As you get into this, you really need to educate yourself to realize what's being done to you. And once I think you realize the scope of this, you'll start to kind of be much more motivated to prevent this from being done to you, okay? And really get a handle on it. So what are the strategies in dealing with this as an addiction? Because unlike tobacco, where you can quit and be done with it, you still have to eat. And so the idea is that actually you need to eliminate the bad food from your environment. And a lot of people will question this idea of, should we call it good food and bad food? I am a proponent of, yes, we should label it good food and bad food, kind of like Harry Potter and Voldemort. Good food, bad food. So, and I'll go into this later when we talk about how to teach your kids this. There should be foods that are considered good foods that are nutritious for you. Carrots are good. Tilapia is good. Broccoli is good. What's bad food? Doritos are bad. Twinkies are bad. Coca-Cola is bad. Bad foods are foods that are full of calories, very calorie dense, with very limited, if any, nutritional value. So there should be good foods and bad foods, and I know that is debated and hotly argued, but for the purposes of us having success with losing weight, I strongly encourage you to start thinking of food in terms of good foods and bad foods. It will make it much easier for you to put a kibosh on what's giving you most of the problems. Now, how do we know that this is actually an addicting phenomenon? There are, and this stands for functional, MRI scans that have been done on people who are having trouble with their weight, who are obese or overweight. And if you put them into a functional MRI scanner and you give them a high carbohydrate load like a milkshake, their brains will light up just the same as people who are given a hit of cocaine will light up. The centers in the brain that are in charge of feeling gratification just are on fire. And once you start getting into that routine of gratification and comfort from food, it is a vicious cycle and you will seek it. So we know that this is not just some theory. We have really proof of change in function within the brain itself when it's exposed to these calorie dense and high calorie, high carbohydrate foods. So lastly, I'll talk about just briefly phentermine, and we'll go into that at another point in time when we go over all of the medications that are options for you to use. Phentermine is something that I just want to touch on briefly with you now. It's very gratifying to have people come in when they can't get a handle on calming their thoughts down about thinking about food. You can put them on a little bit of phentermine and they come back and they say, wow, I don't think about food anymore. It's like noon and I have to eat. So I want you to just touch on this so that you understand that there's hope. There are things that can be done. There are medications, and we'll go through all of the medications at some point, probably in the next 1 or 2 talks. But I really want you to get a handle on this. So these are your homework assignments, okay? So I want you to check out this Fed Up documentary by Katie Couric. It's worth the $1.99 on iTunes to rent. And Salt, Sugar, Fat, if you're at all interested, check out that book. It's very revealing. And so, start thinking about if you're having a lot of trouble restricting your calorie intake, which is going to be the next vlog, then you should start to think about medications to help you curb the addicting part of the cycle. So I hope this has been helpful, and so you just kind of start to look into these things, and you will realize how big a picture this is. All right, thank you.